Hi, and welcome to class. I'm Michelle Barker, and I will be your facilitator for this class, SEI 506. In this video, I will preview the discussion question for the week and some of the court cases and laws pertaining to ELs for this week's summative assessment. So let's get started. In this course, like most education courses, you'll be exposed to lots of different terms, and like most areas in education, there are a bunch of letters. So just to clarify, because this is one you'll see often, is SEI. And for the most part in this class, it stands for Structured English Immersion, and it is mostly an instructional program used in Arizona. However, you will also be reading about and discussing sheltered English instruction, and sometimes that's also referred as SEI, but this is more a common instructional method. So now I want to preview with you some of the federal laws and court cases that you need to be familiar with, because you'll be researching them for your week 1 summative assignment. All right, so the first one that I'm sure everyone has heard of is ESSA, which stands for Every Student Succeeds Act, and it basically replaced No Child Left Behind. With ESSA, schools are measured by test scores like No Child Left Behind, but other aspects of the school are considered in the school's yearly measure. Then Title III pertains to EL funding, and Title VI was a part of the National Civil Rights Law in 1969 and pertains to race, color, and national origin of students. Then the court cases. So these are some of the more important court cases. The first one here is Lau versus Nichols, which basically pertains to ELs receiving an equitable and comprehensible education. Getting the same instruction as a non-English speaking student isn't really equal if it's not meaningful. Then there's Castaneda versus Picard, and I'm sure I said that wrong. This basically states that EL programs need to be research-based so that schools are implementing effective programs. This next one here is Pyler versus Doe, and this court case pertains to undocumented students and notes that regardless of immigration status, all students living in the United States have the right to attend school in the district in which they live. And the last one that's major is Flores versus Arizona, and this specifically deals with funding in Arizona, but it's an important one to remember in regards to schools and the money that they do spend towards ELs. So now I'm on the page for our week 1 summative assessment, English learner laws and policies. This assignment is a synthesis of 1 court case, 1 federal law, and 1 Arizona state law. You'll be giving a historical background of each and discussing how each impacts the education of ELs. Each Arizona state law basically shaped the structured English immersion programs in Arizona, whereas the court cases and the federal laws will affect ELs throughout our nation. So you'll be picking one of each kind and discussing and synthesizing their importance. And lastly is our discussion question. So I want to point out the resource that is used for this week's discussion question, where you'll share your state and or your school district's EL info. If you're a data junkie like me, you will have fun with this site. So basically, here's the link, and when you scroll down, I'm just going to click over or have it open. You will scroll down. It's lots of information, but you'll get to this map of the United States, and you can pretty much find where you live. You get bigger, And then you can find information for all the districts. And it's really kind of fun to look at. So like this is the district I live in, lots of ELs there, lots of students there. And then also below there is a nice chart of the different languages that are spoken. And what I find interesting is the second language for each state is pretty fascinating, because which states vary. Get this, look at this, German and Spanish for Montana. That is fascinating. Anyhow, so I look forward to seeing and reading about your state and your districts. And anyhow, I hope that this presentation will be helpful for you with this week's course topics and assignments.